we said our health and safety is made up of three things: the SHAPI system, the safety, health, and environmental systems. Ne? We do have what we call the ISO 14001, which is for environmental management. Then we do have what we call the ISO 18001, which is for health and safety management. Then we have the ISO 9001, which is for quality what? Quality management. So your environmental management is made up of procedures. You create your environmental management system procedures, then you create your environmental management aspect registers, you create your environmental management system objectives, then your environmental management dashboard, then you also create your environmental management meetings as well as legal registers. So that makes your environmental management. Then your health and safety that we were discussing about. So your health and safety management system, which is ISO 18001, is made up of OHS procedure. You need to create your OHS procedure. You need to make sure that you have OHS risk registers. You do have your OHS objectives management. You need to have your OHS legal compliance. You need to have your OHS trainings and awareness. You need to make sure that you have your OHS legal appointments, people who are legally appointed to assist in the management of the health and safety management. Then you need to have your OHS evacuation drill evaluation form, because we said you must carry out evacuation drills at least twice a year as per the OSHA Act, isn't it? Then you need to have your OHS inspection checklist. So the OHS inspection checklist, I normally expect you to have inspection checklist for all the things that you have within your organization. Then you need to have your OHS health and safety policy. This is to satisfy the Section 7 of the OSHA Act. So your health and safety policy and the quality policy statement must be displayed. Your OHS charts must be displayed. Your evacuation routes, exits must be marked clearly with the standardized signs. Your fire extinguisher, there must be signs, there must be serviced not more than 23 meters apart. Your first aid box must be easily accessible, labeled. Your safety team, like SHREP, firefighters, your first aiders, your fire marshals, your emergency coordinators, your risk assessors, you need to create posters with their faces and numbers for easy identification. Then make sure that you do the SHREPs, they do their monthly inspection checklist. Every month they have to inspect. Firefighters, monthly inspection of fire equipment. First aiders, first aid box checklist. So all those checklists has to be present. Then you need to have your OHS PPE policy, which governs how you issue PPE, which type of PPE are required at which positions or which areas. Then you need to make sure that you have your OHS staff and health and safety acknowledgement organogram must be displayed with their positions. Those which must be legally appointed must be legally appointed. 16.2, 16.1, 16.2, 8.1, 8.2, Section 17, that's your SHREP, isn't it? Section 19, your Health and Safety Committee. All those that must be legally appointed, they must be legally appointed. Then you need to make sure that you have an OHS monitoring dashboard. So the OHS monitoring dashboard, you are just monitoring your health and safety management system. Then you need to have your OHS meeting minutes. So whatever that you discuss during the health and safety meetings, the idea we say that is to represent the grievances of the employees as well as how you can improve continuous improvement. Then you create your corrective actions on how you can correct all the mistakes or hazards and all non-conformances within your organization. Then you need to have your OHS two-spoke talks. So two-spoke talks, they are done on daily basis. So in most cases with two-spoke talks, you'll be discussing different topics. So you have what we call a talk plan. So two-spoke talks, sometimes you talk about three-point rule. If you, since you said you guys you use ladders, isn't it? Behavioral safety, like how people can behave addressing anger issues. Are you getting it? Then who is responsible for what? Coding or between these cell phones use. You just create topics that can make your two-spot talks, like danger in working alone, disease prevention, driving on site, traffic management, your electrical shock, economics, falling objects, finger guidance, fire safety. You can discuss about flexible horses, photo protection, forklift. You guys, you don't have forklift, so it will be your pallet power pallets, isn't it? Good housekeeping. So you create different what topics that you can discuss under two-spoke. Then you need to have your two-spoke talk plan. So your two-spoke talk plan normally is a 12-month plan. So that every it's a 12-month plan in terms of what exactly you're gonna be discussing about, isn't it? Then it has to be reviewed, it has to be checked. Attendance registers has to be present for all the safety meetings, for everything that you do. Then COIDA, you need to make sure that you have COIDA of Department of Labor. Then you need to have your safe working procedures in place, risk assessment. But in most cases, in your position, you guys, you need to have continuous risk assessment. What makes your continuous risk assessment? Daily inspection checklist, your monthly inspection checklist, firefighting equipment checklist, first aid box equipment checklist, your safe working procedures when you are inspecting if being procedures are being followed is part of your continuous risk assessment. Your medical certificates is part of your continuous risk assessment. Your good housekeeping inspections is part of your continuous risk assessment. So continuous risk assessment is what you guys do. And the idea of doing risk assessment is for us to make sure that we put solutions, which we said our solution will be having in a hierarchy, starting from elimination, substitution, engineering controls, administrative controls, yes, up until you get to the provision of PPE. Are you getting it? Then make sure that you do have your site induction presentation. Visitors, they must be inducted, knowing, being familiarized with the workplace. Where do they get emergency exit? Where is your emergency assembly point? What are the rules, internal rules, when they are coming through your warehouse? What are the internal rules during break, whatever? So they must adhere to your procedures. But how they can know all those things is through induction. So three induction is a communication procedure, making people being aware of what is required within your company. Everything that we do, meetings, trainings, uh, they must have the attendance register showing that people were there. Even if we are doing awareness trainings within our company, we must make sure that there is training registers. So, but when we do all these things, we always have to refer to the legal what? To the legal requirements. As I have already shared with you, the sections of OHS Act, as well as some regulations which are applicable to your company. That is your reference. So when you are referencing to the legal requirements, but as I've said that in safety, let us make sure that we plan. We do what we have planned for. We check the effectiveness of what we have planned. Then we act accordingly. And our plan must be safe, must be smart. So when we refer to smart, we look at it must be specific. It must be manageable. It must be attainable or achievable. It must be realistic and time bound. So we cannot just wake up and introduce things. Let us plan for things before implementation. When we implement, we check now the effectiveness. When we check the effectiveness, we act accordingly. And all that plan has to be smart, not assuming that we might do it. Just have a plan of things that you can do and let them be realistic that you can be able to achieve them. Like these simple things that we have discovered here is easy to implement because it's just about science sometimes, opening the emergency exit, you get it. So it's things which are applicable, they are achievable, they are attainable. Are you getting it? But let them have a time bound. Not that you come 2 weeks, there is nothing. 3 weeks, still there is nothing. It is when it is that